Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of my podcast. So, just first of all, thanks everybody who's listened to the first podcast and gave me feedback and stuff. That is so awesome, and I really, really appreciate it. And second of all, I want to start off this podcast just by saying that I absolutely love my job. Today's been a pretty hard day. 5 years ago, on this day, my life changed forever. When my dad passed away. So it's obviously a pretty tough day for the family and myself. But being in Elite today, training all my clients and watching them absolutely smash their transformations, working so hard in their training, working so hard to better themselves. It's made the day a lot easier, and I absolutely love my job. And also, I did start a new client today, and I just want to kind of say that it was it was just one of those it was just one of those meetings with the first client that was amazing. I was getting a buzz off of what he was telling me of what he wanted to achieve and where he wanted to go, and that's just what I absolutely love, that that start of a journey, that this person who's came to me wanting to change, and I'm going to help them make all these amazing changes to their lifestyle that I have done before, and I know is gonna make them feel so much better. And yeah, I can't wait for him to get started. I think it's going to be great. So yeah, I decided to do this podcast today. I was a wee bit skeptical, or a wee bit in two minds if I was actually going to do it. Um, I didn't, it's only the second podcast. I didn't want it to be too depressing or sad. Um, but at the same time, I think that I was always going to do a podcast or kind of around this topic of this, and I thought, with it being the day that it is, do it today. The words will come out better, rather than putting it off. So yeah, I decided to just to crack on and do it. And I understand that people don't want to listen to this and maybe get sad or whatever. But also, if somebody listens to this and takes something from it, then that's what the whole thing's about. And this is why I'm doing the podcast. So I'm deciding to crack on with it. It's pretty late at night, but I want to get this done today. So yeah, 5 years ago, um, my dad passed away, and what I want to go into on this podcast is why I felt I had to change, because that day did change my whole life. That from that day on, my life was different from what it was before, and there's reasons for that, obviously. So I had stopped drinking for 2 months. I think this video's a wee bit squint. 2 seconds. I think that's a bit better. So yeah, I'd stopped drinking for 2 months before my dad had passed away, and I saw how happy he was and how proud he was that I had done that. Um, my dad knew how kind of bad my drinking was, and he was one of the people who kind of helped me to turn my life around and stop drinking to become a better person. Um, and I actually remember the last time that I was with him before he died was out celebrating my birthday, and I'd only stopped drinking for a month and a half or something at this point, and he asked me what I wanted to drink when we went out for something to eat for my birthday, and I said Diet Coke, and the look on his face, I'll always remember it. It was surprise for one, but also he was proud. He was proud that I wasn't just going, it's my birthday, I'll just have a drink. When I'd said I was stopping, I could see that he was happy. He was proud of me that I was deciding to not do that. So yeah, I always remember that, and It'll all stick in my mind. That moment. And then the day before he died, I was speaking to him on the phone, and I was going out for a work night out with guys from the bank that night, and again he asked me on the phone, "Are you having a drink?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm off it. I'm not doing it." Um, and again, I could hear it in his voice of how happy he was and how proud he was that I was deciding to do that. And again, I'll always remember that. So the next day, he passed away, and as I said, it was kind of out the blue. Um, and obviously that day that happened, I remember very well. I got a phone call off my sister to explain what had happened, and after the initial breakdown and just not being able to process the news that I was getting, one of the first thoughts that went through my head was, I need to go to the shop and I need to get drink because this is how I deal with shit. Because that was how I dealt with shit, man. That was what I'd done. That was my reaction to every bad thing that happened, or everything, even stuff that I'd caused. My reaction was, I need to drink this away. I often need to forget about this, or this will make it easier for me. And that was my answer to everything, and that's why I ended up being the person I was and letting people down. And yeah, like that was like one of the first things that came into my head, and I thought I took a step back just for a minute, and I was like, "What are you doing, man? Like, you remember how happy your dad was that you'd stopped drinking. Why are you even thinking about doing that?" So I didn't do it. I decided I wanted to make him proud. I wanted him to be proud of me, and I didn't. I didn't go to the shop and buy alcohol. I had to be there for my family. I had to be there for myself, and thank God, because if I'd decided to do that, I don't have a clue where I would be right now. And if I did do that, I probably certainly wouldn't be here doing this podcast, doing this job, living the life that I live at the moment. So, why I felt, obviously after that, I was dealing with obviously grieving and trying to come to terms with what had happened, and I knew myself that I had to change as a person because the regret of how often I let my dad down when he was here is a really hard thing to deal with and a really hard thing to live with. But I had to change to be a better person so that in the future, like now, and then more in the future, I can look myself in the mirror and I can tell myself that he would be proud of me, because that's not how I felt before, the way I was before, and the person that I was before. And as much as over the last 5 years, I can, people tell me, and people tell me all the time, your dad would be so proud of you, and I appreciate that so much. I really, really do. That means the world to me. So anybody that's ever said that to me, thank you, because that genuinely means so much to me. However, even though I know that he would be proud of me, and I'm proud of myself, um, over what I've achieved and the person I've become over the last 5 years, it is hard to live with that regret of the person I was when he was here. I changed too late, and he wasn't, and he isn't here to see that, and that's hard to live with. Um, so as much as every good thing that I do, whether it's with work, whether it's doing a triathlon, whether it's another year off alcohol, yeah, I'm proud, but also in the back of my mind, there's a regret and there's a pain and there's a sadness of the person that I used to be and what he saw when he was here, and that is not easy to fucking live with, man. However, it would be so easy to just say, I can't. I keep on going to swear, I apologise. I keep. It would be easy to say, I can't deal with this and I'm going to drink the pain away, because that is what I used to do, and that is what sometimes seems the easy answer when things get really tough. And But what I said there was that would be the easy thing, and instead I use the regret that I have to drive me on to be a better person and achieve things that my dad and my family are proud of. And that's how I'm a different person now. I no longer take the easy way out of bad situations and say, I'm just going to go and get wasted and forget about this and deal with it later. I tackle I tackle situations head on, and I try and deal with them, and I do things that will make me a better person instead of messing things up. Um, and that's what I'm trying to get across in this podcast. It's like, don't use tragedy and bad times as an excuse to give up when things get hard. Don't give up on your goals and your dreams when something happens, even if it's really bad. That's when it's even more important to do the right thing, or the thing that you know is going to help you. It's going to help your mindset. It's going to help how you feel. It's going to help your health. It's going to help those around you. By just taking the easy way out with food, alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be, you're only going to make yourself feel so much worse. And in bad times, you do not want that. I have been there. I have made situations worse and worse and worse because I was trying to avoid stuff by taking an easy route of ignoring it and being selfish and letting people down. And now I can look at things and take another option, and use my training like therapy. Something bad happens, something sad happens, I train, and that makes me feel better. It helps my mindset, it helps my mental health, and it's just generally makes me feel good, and it helps me through bad times. And whether it's training, any form of exercise, my triathlon stuff, going a walk, spending time with loved ones and friends and family, you know, that is how I deal with stuff now, and I'm so much better off for it, and I live such a better life because of it. Um, and I can sit here and say this because I've lived on both sides of it. I'm not just trying to sit here and preach something about what I've never experienced. For a large part of my life, I'm not proud of who I was or the actions that I took, and the amount of times I let people, especially my dad, down. That is, again, as I said, it's hard to live with. And but this is I use that to try and push myself on to achieve bigger and better things and help people every day. Dedicate my life to helping others. Dedicate my life to helping others who are in similar positions, that I can talk to them and explain to them how to make things better, and all of it is still obviously work on myself as well. And that's ultimately it. I think that sometimes when you're talking about this kind of thing, and emotional things, that your head can go a bit mental. I don't quite know if I've got out everything that I've wanted to say today, but my brain's kind of went to mush, to be honest, and I hope I have, and I hope that somebody can get something from this, because this podcast is dedicated to my dad, and I miss you. I hope you're proud of me, and that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. I really do appreciate it, and thanks for everyone's ongoing support and the things that I do. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you very much.